Good evening. Today is January 28th of 2020. um, I was talking to a friend of mine yesterday because I mentioned to her, oh, by the way, of course, I cut my hair. I had to run the machine on my because I don't think the guy did it. I wanted a regular haircut, and I noticed it was uneven, so I had to go ahead and just uh, use the machine to make it even. So I paid him for nothing basically, and I made the promise that I was gonna start screenplay once I got a haircut, and then I wouldn't cut it again till I finished. But now I'm gonna have to go to another barber, and see if they can fix it a little. Wait a couple of days, a couple of weeks maybe, then go again and get it right. Hopefully, because you never know these people. But it's a gamble. The one guy that was doing my hair right now is no longer there, so that's the problem. He probably moved up to something better because he was good. He knew what he was doing. So um, so I was talking to my friend from my childhood. She lives over in Nicaragua, but I mentioned to her that I was gonna start writing the screenplay and everything, and then told her, you wanna help me, maybe you to generate ideas and stuff, maybe, because uh, she doesn't speak that English that well, or and she doesn't really like writing. But I told her, really, you don't have to write anything. I'll write it, and you don't have to speak a lot of English because I'll just translate the ideas to English. But um, what I need is ideas, really. That it's hard to be just plotting on your own. That's why they get teams to work on movies when they have like a deadline, for them, and because they know this professional writers that they're gonna come up with something good, hopefully. So, you know, here's something cool here. It's that I noticed. I was thinking, where should I put the light? Because sometimes my videos look kind of dark, and I had this other the light from the magnifying glass that I had. And I noticed something weird. Look, kind of look like if I have blue eyes or something. You know, not that I want to. That'd be nice, probably. Yeah, but no, it's just something I noticed. It's kind of makes my eye color change with this. It's just my eyes are just dark brown, but whatever. And okay, talking about screenwriting. I was telling her yesterday, because I asked her a couple times, what have you thought about? Because I gave her some starting points of my story that I had in mind, and I told her when my inspiration came and everything, and so she had a headache a couple days ago, migraine, and so I wasn't, expecting anything from her on those days. And then she went to a trip to a different town over in Nicaragua. So I know that's uh, drains your energy also. But on the way there, you could think. But and then I asked her again yesterday if have you thought about anything, and she told me no, really, I haven't thought of anything. And I told her, oh well, you're almost fired from the project right now at this point because you have to generate ideas in order to for us to work together. You know, if you're not giving me anything, like I had this friend when I was a kid, basically. You know, I left Nicaragua when I was 16, and he was older than me. He was around when I was 16, he was probably 24. So, but this guy was a scam artist. He like when I first met him, he was doing counterfeit raffles to for us to go around and ask people to give us a couple Cordovas to win something. I don't remember. Probably I think it was a blender or something. And he has the specifics and what it was for and everything. He was a good-looking guy and polite, you know, soft-spoken. He was in when he wanted to, he could be tough too. And but he was a person who always made me laugh. He was he had good jokes and the way he talked and how we he would look at you sometimes. And very smart guy. But he was cunning. You know, he was like uh, he didn't have all the um, he wasn't behaving ethical or moral all the time. He was kind of shady and sometimes uh, uh, mm, crooked. You know, but he was my friend. You know, I try to talk him out of some stuff that he would do. So, but some people get it wrong. You know, that in life that they think they're gonna get away with murder. So, not that he was murdering anybody, but you know, it's just things that you shouldn't do. I like the I like the drive to do those kinds of things. You know, I wasn't willing to, and I let him know. So now that after I visited the country and everything, like he said, oh, it used to be terrible, this and that, and then he thought about it. He goes, no, you didn't used to be so terrible, you know, because he remembers it that I try to talk him out of stuff, you know, sometimes. But whatever, since he was creative, you know, and his brother was very creative. He's a painter. He taught me my first uh, lessons on painting and drawing, you know, and so I figured this guy is always lying. He's making stuff up all the time. He's good at creating stories stuff. So they were asking for somebody to give to contribute to which radio show because they had different stories every day and they were like in need of different stories because they try to pull so many commercials and they give you some vague stuff. So they knew themselves that they lack, you know, and a good source of stories. And they were offering something, as I don't remember exactly what, but probably just money and acknowledgement. I don't know. And I asked him, "I can get happy," and I immediately thought of him. You know, this guy could make some stuff up. And because I didn't see myself that way, I used to think I was just somebody who was good at art, and when it comes to painting and all that, drawing. And so I asked him, man, can do you have an idea, for one of these stories? And then he was always about rural areas, the woods and small towns and you know farmland and all that over in Nicaragua. So um, farmer stories. So he said, "Okay, I have something," and I was like, "Oh, cool. What is it? Let me know. Tell me what's your story?" And he says, "Well, this man walking in the middle of the night alone on an empty road, dirt road, and he started hearing somebody following him, and or something following him, and he looked back, and there was this dog, and he became afraid of the dog, and he had a machete, and he turned around and killed the dog, left him there, and then continued walking. Again, he noticed something following him, and so he looked back, and there were two dogs instead. Two of the same kind of dog he killed the first time. Became concerned, again, killed them both, and started walking faster, moving away from the area. And then he noticed again something following him, turned around, four dogs. And then, you know, um, and I asked him, and and that's what I got right now. I was like, that's not a story, that's just a scene, an event. That's that's part of a story, if that. Uh, but that's not a complete story at all. It's just a portion. It sounds interesting, but and it was before a lot of other movies that have similar stuff on them. So he was pretty original and everything, but he didn't know how to develop a good story when it came to like creating something that was gonna. Because stories are, I was telling her like yesterday, stories are not a place, stories are not a person. You know, you have to. Those are parts of the story. You have to create a world in which characters live, characters act. So, like for instance, as I was telling her also, like the movie that I was talking about the other day when I painted my face like the Joker. That movie's good. It's awesome. I liked it. I loved it. I watched the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'm a fan of Tarantino. I like his movies. Not to not 100%, but generally, yeah. I like them. And but this particular movie, I told her, as good as it was, it could have been better. And she said, oh, how come? Yeah, because they're using a fictional character from something the audiences know already. Gotham City, Batman, all that. And they made that villain, they turn him into a real person. How it would have been if this guy was a real person. How would he have be turned into that villain? But then I told her, but the point is, it's well done and everything, well executed. But they could have gone even further and just get rid of the dynamic of the Batman story. Just have the Joker be in a different city, San Francisco, whatever, and just forget the Batman. Just create that Joker, and they could have done that too. They included it. I think they feel like the Batman fans were gonna be disillusioned if there's no mention of Batman in the Gotham City or whatever. But who cares? It's like you're creating a different character now. Just you could go all the way. Now you stepped out of the boundaries of what they've become, what's become actually cliche of the same thing over and over. They got me bored. Started watching all these Batman movies and all that. It's like for kids already. It's like okay, we're older now. That's like let me have something. Okay, use that character, but flesh him out better. Totally. Do a different person. The different guy, not in Gotham City, in a real city. Make him, probably if you're forced to create a different movie, then create a different Batman for the next time. And it doesn't have to be in that city. It's just to be the guy who confronts this villain. That has gone crazy. Probably you know um, uh, friends at some point or whatever. But that's just me coming up with suggestions. You know, I don't really uh, think that that's the one thing they could have done better. I think because I was expecting that to be the case, uh, but it wasn't. Just so it's uh, they were they were afraid of that at that degree to go up out of the boundaries of the original, narrative. But whatever. So going back to what stories are, it's like I read a lot of books on screenwriting, and some of the first ones I read, they had one mention of something that they say it's what makes the movies. I remember this particular book. It wasn't one of my favorite books. I actually like uh, Michael Haig's take on that, but I don't think it's in his book. I doubt it very much. But the one thing is they talk about what if. They mentioned that what if in one movie. I remember. I think it's Swordfish with John Travolta. He's the one. What if? It's like, what if? Like, what if is what's gonna generate ideas for you. You know. Uh, what if there's a couple in the Titanic and they fall in love and then she's rich and things like that. They put the what if on it. Or what if uh, a group of men is looking for a soldier that it's the only soldier left out of the children of a couple and Private Ryan, so stories like that. But then, in my view, you have to write things that you be excited about. Uh, don't no matter the genre. You could do horror or comedy drama, whatever. But it's something you will love to see. You're gonna have to cancel this call, my friend Claudia. So she'll understand. So if she calls again, I'll just pick it up and tell her I'm doing the video. So the question shouldn't be what if. The question should be like I was telling her, my friend, yeah, not this friend, but the other one. Um, wouldn't it be cool if? Wouldn't it be nice if? Wouldn't it be terrible if? Wouldn't it be scary if? You know. Uh, so things that excite you. Like man, wouldn't it be cool if this and that happened, and then this and that happened, and this and that. Keep your mind excited on the story, the progress of it, the questions like that is what's gonna push you forward. Not what if? What if I go to the toilet and take a shit? It's gonna stink. It's not interesting. What if they knock and I open the door and there's a mailman and they have to sign and then it's just boring. What if? What if it's anything? But what's exciting? It's way different. What's exciting? What's scary? What's romantic? Wouldn't it be cool if a couple fall in love this way and in that way? And they, yeah, things are exciting. So that's my view on that, and my perspective on screenwriting. I'm writing another screenplay right now. Been thinking a lot about it. I told my friend a lot of my original concepts, and I even changed some ideas already. Everything in my head, and I am willing to change a bit more. I have a pretty good idea of where I want this first scene. Um, uh, uh, I even researched a little bit on that, the location and the what takes place on a situation like that, and and I'm excited to start writing and see if she can help me. Awesome, but I already got some muscle. I've been practicing little scripts, here and there, and I finished that feature length screenplay that I'm really proud of it. Even though it hasn't gone anywhere and I haven't really pushed it anywhere, but I'm really happy with it. And I was telling her yesterday, I don't care if it hasn't gone anywhere, because it's that's the rule basically in Hollywood. You write one, two, three, four. I understand. Rod Serling wrote a bunch of scripts before he sold the first one, and then they asked him what else you have, and he had a bunch of scripts, so he sold them all. Then because they once they discover him, then they knew that all his work was good. So and and if I'm writing, it's for a reason. God gave me that. Um, um, how do you call um that need for me to express, and I found this by accident. But the moment I found it, it's like, oh yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to write, in that way. I was offered other styles of writing, teaching, children's stories, children's books, and stuff like that. I wasn't so excited about it. They sent me a bunch of information on that, and that wasn't interesting. But screenwriting grabbed me, immediately. So I'm gonna finish the video so I can go call my friend back. 'Cause uh, I, I I don't like to not answer, when they call me. So good night. God bless you, and let me know if you agree with me with my perspective on screenwriting. Thank you. Goodbye. Good night.